What if the biggest signals in the Iraqi dinar story aren't coming from rumors, not from social media, and not from so-called insiders? What but from the quiet behavior of banks themselves? Because in global finance, institutions don't talk first. They prepare first. And right now, something interesting is happening behind the scenes that serious currency holders should not ignore. Today, we're going to break this down calmly, logically, and professionally. No hype, no conspiracy theories, and no emotional promises, just real world financial behavior and what it could mean for anyone holding Iraqi dinar. Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News Update. Let's get into it. For years, the Iraqi dinar community has lived in two worlds. One world is loud, full of dates, dramatic claims, overnight wealth stories, and constant speculation about resets or surprise announcements. The other world is quiet, the world of central banks, compliance departments, financial institutions, and policy changes that happen slowly and methodically. And here's something most new holders don't realize: real currency changes never start in the loud world. They start in the quiet one. Because currencies don't move on excitement, they move on preparation. They move on systems. They move on institutions. And that's exactly why this moment deserves attention. Recently, there has been growing discussion across financial circles about banking readiness, procedural updates, and operational positioning related to Iraq's financial system and currency infrastructure. Now let me be very clear before we go further. This is not about any secret insider, and it's definitely not about political personalities forcing anything behind the scenes. Currency markets simply don't work that way. No single individual controls global finance. But what does matter is institutional behavior. And when banks start preparing early, that's when experienced investors pay attention. Because banks do not allocate time, staffing, compliance checks, or operational readiness unless they see a reasonable probability that something may require action. They don't prepare for fun. They prepare for our risk management. So what exactly does bank preparation mean? It doesn't mean an overnight revaluation. It doesn't mean tomorrow morning you wake up rich. And it certainly doesn't mean running to the nearest exchange center. What it means is much more technical and much more realistic. It means systems get tested, documentation processes get reviewed, compliance protocols get updated, exchange procedures get clarified, staff training increases, liquidity planning begins. These are not exciting headlines, but they are exactly how real financial transitions begin. Before any rate ever changes publicly, institutions make sure they're ready to handle volume, because if millions of people suddenly needed currency services and banks weren't prepared, the entire system would collapse. So preparation always comes first, announcements come later. Now let's step back and talk about Iraq itself, because at the end of the day, this isn't about rumors. It's about a country rebuilding its financial credibility. Over the past several years, Iraq has been quietly modernizing a digital banking systems, electronic payments, across border compliance, anti-money laundering frameworks, with central bank transparency, the international financial integration. These are not flashy changes, but they're exactly the type of reforms required for any currency to gain stability and international confidence. No country's currency becomes stronger without strong institutions behind it, and Iraq has been laying that foundation piece by piece, slowly, methodically, professionally, which is how real progress looks. Now here's where this becomes practical for you as a holder. If you own Iraqi dinar, whether you've held for months or years, the most important thing you can do right now is not speculate. It's prepare, because preparation beats prediction every time. You don't need to guess dates. You don't need to chase rumors. You simply need to be organized and ready. That means keep your purchase records safe, keep proof of ownership, keep valid identification ready, know which banks in your region legally handle foreign currency exchanges, understand official procedures, stay informed through credible sources. That's it. Notice something. None of that involves panic. None of that involves rushing. and none of that involves believing dramatic promises. Because real financial opportunities don't require chaos, they reward readiness. Let's also talk honestly about risk, because any responsible channel must address both sides. Yes, Iraq is improving. Yes, banking systems are modernizing. Yes, institutions are paying more attention. But currency markets are still unpredictable. Oil prices matter. Political stability matters. Global economics matter. Interest rates matter. Unexpected shocks happen. So responsible holders think long-term. They manage expectations. They never assume guarantees, because guarantees don't exist in Forex. Only probabilities do. Another important point many people overlook is timing psychology. In this community, people often feel pressure to act fast, pressure not to miss out, pressure to believe something huge is happening right now. But pressure is usually a red flag. Legitimate financial events give you time. Scams create urgency. Real systems move gradually. Fake narratives demand immediate action. So if you ever feel rushed or emotionally pushed, step back. Calm thinking protects your money. Emotional decisions usually hurt it. Here's the mindset shift that separates experienced holders from beginners. Beginners chase events. Experienced investors watch behavior, because behavior reveals truth long before announcements. And right now, the behavior we're seeing is not hype, it's quiet preparation, which is exactly how serious financial developments typically begin. Let me speak directly to long-term holders for a moment. If you've been in this space for years, you've probably heard everything. Hundreds of "this is it" moments, dates that passed, claims that failed, predictions that disappeared. So skepticism is healthy, but don't let skepticism turn into blindness, because sometimes real progress looks boring, and boring is actually a good sign. Excitement is rarely how currencies strengthen. Stability is, structure is, systems are, and those are finally being built. So what should you actually do? Simple: stay informed, stay organized, stay calm, follow official banking channels, avoid rumors, avoid emotional decisions. Prepare, don't predict. That approach protects you in every scenario. If nothing changes, you're still safe. If something does change, you're ready. That's the smartest position to be in. At the end of the day, the Iraqi dinar story isn't about overnight miracles. It's about gradual transition. From isolation to integration, from outdated systems to modern banking, from speculation to structure, and transitions don't make noise. They unfold quietly. So instead of chasing hype, watch the institutions. Because when banks prepare, it's never random. And that's where the real story always begins. If you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe to Iraqi Dinar News Update for calm, factual, and professional analysis, not rumors. Like the video, share it with other serious holders, and drop your thoughts below. Stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay steady. I'll see you in the next update.